And so it was all this kind of cumulative stress, but yet throughout it all, I had a couple of ups and downs, particularly after that IED strike, but I was able to remain functional and kept going back, kept doing the job. And when I was in that environment, I was very resilient. And then it was only when I got out of the army that it sort of all started to catch up with me a little bit. And so with hindsight, what was happening was, even though there was a stack of stress, on the other side of the scales there was a stack of resilience, all these factors that I'll talk to that allowed us to remain resilient within an organisation like the SAS, balanced out that stress and resilience. And so if you look at it on the scales, you go along fine. And I suspect most in the room are probably, you know, got a bunch of stress in their life, but are very innately and inherently, by virtue of the fact that you've got yourself through medical degrees and you're high functioning doctors, have got a bunch of resilience, but you're balancing that against a bunch of stress. And that works well until you take a dip in resilience and the stress can catch up with you. And so if we look at this from the perspective of Maslow's hierarchy, I was pretty much, what he referred self-actualised. So I felt that I was kind of the best version of myself as a doctor with the SAS regiment. And so I had all that stuff down the bottom, all those basic needs, all the food, water, warmth, rest, safety. Safety was a bit dubious sometimes, but for the most part, I had professional security and belongingness, love needs. I had my family, so a young family at home while I was doing all of this, which was that part. But my real close interactions and my close social network was my workmates. So these people were like family, you know, you'd quite literally risk your life to try and save one of them, and you knew that feeling was mutual. So I had those really strong bonds at work. From an esteem perspective, prestige, feeling of accomplishment, being part of an organisation like the SAS Regiment had all that attached to it, and within that I felt that I was functioning at a good level, I was doing my job well, I was internally validated and I was being externally validated as well. And so I was self-actualised. But the trap that I'd fallen into is most of this was tethered to my role as a doctor within the SAS. That was what I was self-actualised as, not as a human being outside of work. And so I was suffering from a thing called contingent self-esteem,